Hey everyone, it's Rick. This is one of 3 videos I did for a corporate wellness series in January. And this particular one was the first one, so I have a little bit of an introduction about what I'm going to be doing in this breathing and stretching exercise session. And the camera angle is different than what I did because I was still experimenting, but I hope you like it.
I'm here, as they say, to teach what you practice and practice what you teach. And this is something that I do every single morning. I have a normal yoga practice that I do that's a lot more athletic than this, but I wanted to do something that was more about, kind of focusing on breathing and stretching, because we sit all day and there are certain muscles that get tight and we also kind of forget to breathe. So but basically, like I said, it's about linking breathing and movement. We've been doing it for thousands of years. Qigong in China, pranayama in India. There's a lifetime of learning on breathing. And, I would love to kind of give it all in a session, but, this is a journey and not a destination. So what I hope to do as we start doing these more is kind of give little tips as I go along and kind of build onto it. And then also the concept of balance, there's yin and yang, there's hard and soft. And so even through this practice, so this is a very mild practice. I'm not doing anything really heavy duty. There will be times where, there'll be, more firm things to focus on the core. And then some things are just completely chill. And we'll be mostly doing some flow with some breaks where we're just going to focus on breathing. Go ahead and keep the tops of your feet flat on the floor and kneel. If this is uncomfortable for you, you can sit on a block or sit on a pillow or have a blanket in between your legs. But I want you to have your palms up, breathe in, bring your shoulders up, breathe out, roll them back. You may feel that your back is arched. This is actually straight. This is the perfect breathing position. Feel like you have a string on the top of your head, pulling your spine up. Relax your face, your forehead, your cheeks, your jaw. Take a deep breath in with your nose, and then let it out. Feel free to have audible breaths. In yoga studios, we talk about having this wave of breaths coming in. So I'm going to first start about 2 types of breathing. There are hundreds of types of breathing. One is belly breathing. And so when you breathe in, I want you to push your belly out as you breathe in and pull it back when you breathe out. Do that a couple more times. Keeping your shoulders back, your face relaxed. The second concept is chest breathing. And so what we're going to do is we're going to keep our belly in and we're going to expand our chest as we breathe in. Belly breathing is more about building energy. This is how you breathe when you're exercising. Chest breathing. And if you haven't already, feel free to close your eyes if you choose. So throughout this practice, we'll be talking, I may be asking to focus on belly or chest breathing. The last thing we're going to do is combine the two. And so we're going to breathe in with your belly, expand into your chest, breathe out by depressing your chest and bringing your belly in. This is a traditional meditation breathing, is, start with the belly, expand into the chest, up to the head, and back down. And there's other steps to this, but for now, I just wanted to kind of get those 2 concepts for those people who aren't used to breathing, that there is breathing with the belly and breathing with the chest, because I'll refer to this in. The final thing before we go to our next position is I want you to consider your tongue position. In humans, our tongue is very back far in our throat and sometimes constricts our breathing. So I want you to, because everyone's physiology is different, let me give you 2 options to see which works best for you. Option 1 is kind of bring your tongue down from the top of your mouth. Keep your lips together, open your teeth a little bit, and have your tongue touching the bottom teeth, front teeth. Do a breath in with that and see how that feels. It should feel like you have like a mouthful of water, you're building some resonance and some space in your mouth. And you might find that that's easier to get some deeper breath, because it's kind of like, opening when you're pouring liquid out of a jar and you open a hole in the back of it, kind of like releases some air. This helps with that. Similar kind of concept. Also opens up the back of the throat. The second option I want you to try is take the tip of your tongue and touch the roof of your mouth. Again, lips are together, teeth may be separated a little bit, making some space in the mouth. Sometimes this helps some people with, bringing the tongue a little forward and opening up the throat. So I just want to kind of give those things as primers to start off. What I want you to do is kind of lean forward onto your hands. Bring your fingers towards you, maybe come up on your toes. I'm going to put my hands in front of the screen like this to see so you can see what I'm doing. So your hands are towards you and you're kind of pressing into it. Don't put much pressure on it, but we're just kind of expanding. We spend a lot of time with our hands on the keyboard or sitting on a mouse. And so we're going to give it a little bit of a stretch. The next thing I want you to do is bring your fingers up and kind of lean into the fingers from that way. Stretching them out, leaning into it, maybe trying to wiggle the fingers while you're doing it. The third way I want you to do is I want you to bring your palms up, but your fingers facing each other. This may feel very uncomfortable, so make sure you don't put too much weight on it. And I want you to kind of try to squeeze and make fists out of that. This is stretching the back of the forearms. And then the final one I want you to do is keep your hand in the same place, but break fists and come up on fists. So your knuckles are the ones that are on the ground, and you're going to lean into the thumb and forefinger side, the big cinnamon rolls we used to call it, and back to stretch the side of the forearm. Great. Go ahead and come back up on your kneeling position on your toes. Shake out your hands. We're going to stay here for a couple of breaths. This pose is sometimes uncomfortable, but it's a really good stretch. You may want to reach down and take your little pinky toes and tuck them in. They may be under. Have your hands on your lap. Again, shoulders back, head up, relax the face. Consider the tongue position. Deep breath in and deep breath out. This is a good stretch for the feet, which may be, sitting all day, maybe tense. Also a good stretch for plantar fasciitis. I want you to now take your hands and kind of place them back behind you. You're kind of doing a little back bend. This is stretching out the shoulders and stretching out the quadriceps. If you're able to do it, if you need to have blocks or you need to have put on a table or near a couch, that's okay. But the idea is we're stretching the front of our body, our chest, our abs, our quadriceps. Take a deep breath in and try to push your pelvis up if you have that stretch. Stretch even further, almost like a temporary back bend. As you breathe out, bring down. Go ahead and walk your hands in front of you. Open your knees to about mat width distance apart, and we're going to sit back into child's pose. Have your hips as far back as possible, sitting on your ankles. Have your arms long in front of you, your hands at the edges of the mat about equal to your knees. And just think about breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. Now I want you to take your palms and I want you to rotate them up. So your palms are facing forward, your thumbs are up. You may feel a sensation of a stretch along your back. This is where we want to kind of open our back up. Just that little movement opens our back up. Keep that position in the back, but bring the palms back down. This is where we want to be for a child's pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Now take your left hand and place it over your right hand, bring it across the mat, straighten your arms out, and kind of push back against your left hip. This gives you a good stretch along the left side of your torso. Breathing and out. Now we'll travel to the left side of the mat, left hand down, right hand over the left, straighten the arms, push into the right hip. Breathing in, breathing out. Bring your hands back to each side of the mat. I want you to come up to tabletop on your hands and knees. Align so that your knees are right under your hips, your hands are under your shoulders. And we'll do a couple cows and cats. So as you breathe in, push your chest and belly forward, looking up. As you breathe out, push your back up, bow your back into cat. Breathe in, feel like you're pulling with your hands, like you're pulling your mat towards you to get some good stretch. As you breathe out, push your hands away on the mat, like you're trying to split your knees and the mat in between your knees and your hands. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out into a cat. Come back to a neutral position. We're going to take our right arm and put it out to the right, parallel to the floor. And then we're going to thread it underneath our left arm, along the floor, hand on the floor. Bring the right shoulder down, bring your right side of your head down, and to thread the needle. Go ahead and bring your left hand, straighten your left arm and hand so that your arms are in a 90-degree angle. You should feel the stretch in the right side of the torso. Breathe. Bring the left hand back up in front of the face and push on it to put yourself back up into table pose. Get another cat and cow. And we'll do the other side. Left hand out, thread it underneath. And straighten the right arm. Breathing. Bring the right hand down in front of your face, push up, back into tabletop. Here I want you to do some kind of like lateral movements, like wiggle your hips, kind of doing a little banana shape between your shoulders and your hips, kind of get a little lateral movement here. Come back to a standard static position. And now we're going to push our hands forward into a puppy pose. So we're going to straighten our arms off ahead of us like we're diving into a pool. Bring your forehead to the mat, stretching out the front of your shoulders, your chest. If you want, you can bring your chin to the mat for more of a chest opener, or if you have it in your practice, you can bring your chest to the mat, opening up the front of the body, stretching out the shoulders. An easy way to get out of this is just push forward onto your forearms and then bring your hands down and back up to the tabletop. So we're going to work on the bottom half of the body now. This is where we're doing all the sitting. So we're going to be opening up some of the hip joints. But first we need to warm them up. I want you to straighten your right leg, pressing your toes against the mat, and having the ball of your toe press against the mat, push back. You should feel it in your calf. Your right calf should be stretching, straight right leg. Now I want you to lift your leg parallel to the floor. We're engaging our glutes, things that get ignored by sitting all day. We're going to hold it here. If it's in your practice and you want to work on core, feel free to lift your left arm into a bird dog. Otherwise, keep your hands on your mat, your foot up. And we're going to bring our knee to our chest 5 times. This is to warm up the hip for some further stretching. So go ahead and when you bring your knee to your chest, you're going to breathe out, breathe in when you push it back. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep it held up, and we're going to slide. We're going to move your leg over to the left-hand side as you breathe in. Look over your left-hand shoulder, looking at your foot as it's still parallel hanging there. As you breathe out, move it all the way to the right side of your mat, looking over your right shoulder, looking at your foot. Breathe in, over to the left. Breathe out, over to the right. Again, doing this to engage the glutes. Breathe in, over to the left. Breathe out, over to the right. Now this time when you breathe in and bring it to the left-hand side, I want you to put your foot down on the ground on the other side of your mat, similar to when we started. And we're going to push back and then look over your left-hand shoulder and feel the stretch in your right side of your body, your hip, your right torso. This is one of my favorite stretches. This is probably one of the first ones I did when I started trying to do some morning stretches. Go ahead and bring your foot back up into the center and bring your knee down. While here, do another cat and cow, or cow and cat. And we'll switch sides. Push your left toes into the ground, straighten your left foot, your left leg. Dig it deep in, stretch that calf. Breath. Okay, lift up that leg. Hold it here. If you want to work on core, bring the right arm up into bird dog, and we'll bring it into your chest. If you're doing bird dog, then do a knee to an elbow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you had your hands, didn't have your hands down, put your hands down. Breathe in, bring it over to the left, look over to the right, look over your shoulder. Breathe out, over to the left, looking over your shoulder at it. Breathe in to the right. Breathe out to the left. One more cycle to the right and to the left. Now when we bring it back over to the right, put it down on the ground, dig the toes in, stretch your leg back, lean over looking at it, big stretch. You might feel a little different sensation. Might be more in the thigh this time, might be more in the torso. Each side is different. Now bring the foot up, back into center position, knee down, and back into tabletop. When you tuck your toes under and push up into a downward facing dog. Make sure your head is relaxed. Shake it yes or no. Looking back at your toes. Keep the knees bent. This is not for stretching. This is for positioning. Go ahead and pedal the feet out. Bending the right knee. Pushing the left heel into the mat. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, switch feet. Push the right heel into the mat. Bend the left foot. Keep thinking about pushing the hips up in the air. Remember that sensation in the child's pose with the opening up the back. Think about that. Maybe think about like taking your palms and twisting two knobs outward, opening the back up, pushing the chest in. Maybe just kind of wiggle the hips back and forth. Give them a little stretch there. As we breathe. I want you to bring your feet to the edges of the mat. Maybe bring your hands in. I want you to reach in with your right hand and grab the outside of your left ankle. And then look under your left armpit. This is stretching out the hamstring on the left side. It's also stretching out the left side of the torso. Bring your right hand back down to the mat and we'll switch sides. Left hand to the outside of the right ankle. Looking through the window underneath your right armpit. Bring your hand down. Let's bring our feet together. Toes touching. I want you to lift your left leg straight up in the air. Bend the knee, point the toe, and turn your hips to the left side, opening up the hip. You should feel this in the quadricep. Think about pushing the right heel down towards the mat. Doesn't matter if the right leg is bent or straight. The important thing is opening up the left side of the torso and giving some opening to the quadricep. Come back the same way you came in, straighten the left leg. Bring it down, and we'll switch sides. Right leg up, Bend the knee, rotate the hips to the right. Press the heel down on the left foot and breathe. Straighten the right leg back out and bring it down. I want you to bend your knees and look forward. And I want you to step your left leg forward. Put your foot down. We're going to a lunge position, knee to the ground. Bring your hands on top of your thigh. We're going to press into the quadricep. Stretching the right hand side. I want you to push back. We're going to do a half split. Maybe push the ankle out a little bit. It's important that the hip is over the right knee. Your left leg doesn't have to be straight. Kind of bend forward, stretching into the left hamstring. Go ahead and come back down onto your left. We're going to rotate to the right, come into a side split. Standing side split, bring your hands down in front of you on the floor, straight below your shoulders, and just bend forward. Relax your head, let it just hang. Couple breaths here. And we're going to continue traveling to the right, and we're going to do the same quad stretch on the right hand side. Knee down, hands up onto the right leg, and push forward as we breathe. Push back into a half split. Again, we're just looking for pressure. We're not trying to extend our splits or improve our stretching, but this will just kind of limber us up a little bit in the morning, making sure we're getting all the right muscle groups stretched. Go ahead and come forward onto your right foot, rotate to the left, back into forward splits. I want you to put your hand, the right hand down in front of you on the floor in front of your face. Put your left hand on your hip, and we're going to twist to the left. If you'd like, you can lift your arm. If you'd like, you can then grab the outside of your left ankle and breathe. Bring the hand back, right hand back down to the floor, left hand down to the floor, and we'll switch side. Left hand on the floor, right hand on the hip, rotate, stay here, or extend the arm, stay here, or reach over and grab the left side, the outside of the right ankle. Bring the left hand back down to the ground and the right. And we're going to come up to the front of the mat into a hanging position. Hanging forward fold. Keep the knees bent. Grab opposite elbows. And just loosen the torso like you're hanging over a rope. Shake the head yes or no. Let it relax. If you'd like, you can reach behind you, interlace your fingers, straighten your arms, give a little bit more stretch. Release the hands down to the floor. Toe heel your feet together so your toes are touching, and slowly roll up, one vertebrae at a time. Head comes up last. Exhale. Inhale, bring the shoulders up. Exhale, rotate them around. Hands palm forward into mountain pose. And we'll stay here and breathe for a couple minutes. Come back to your breath. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Again, the perfect breathing position. Fill up your belly. Fill up your chest. Relax your face. Consider your tongue position. Even being in this pose brings you energy or serenity. It can be picturing yourself standing on the beach, feeling the salt spray, the waves kind of against you as you stand here, or maybe on the side of a mountain, looking at the trees in the valley and a creek, the wind blowing. Some good, maybe do some chest breathing. Energize a little bit. Even if nothing else during the day, just getting in this position and taking a few breaths can help energize you. On the next breath, we're going to bring our hands over our head. I want you to grab your right wrist with your left hand. As you breathe out, lean over to the left. Breathe in, come back up, switch hands. Right hand grabs left wrist. Lean over to the right. Breathe in, come back up. We're going to bend the elbow of the right arm. Going to put the hand right behind your neck. I want you to grab your elbow with your left hand, and we're going to lean over, just kind of pulling on the tricep. Breathe in, put the hands back up, switch sides. Left hand goes behind your neck. Right hand grabs the elbow. Go over to the right hand side. As we breathe in this time, just grab opposite elbows, keep them above your head like you have a little roof over your head. When you breathe in, I want you to lean back, pushing your pelvis forward, stretching your chest. As you breathe out, come back up. I want you to bring your hands up in the air, breathe in, breathe out, bring them down, the hands to prayer in front of your heart. And maybe start doing belly breathing from here. We're going to do 2 half sun salutation A's without stepping back or doing the chaturanga. So when we breathe in, hands up over your head. Breathe out, bend down, hands to the ground. Breathe in, hands to shin or floor, straighten your back. Breathe out, hands back to the ground. Breathe in, all the way up. Breathe out, hands to the side. One more time. Breathe in, arms all the way up. Breathe out, bend over, hands to the ground. Breathe in, halfway lift. Breathe out, bend over. Breathe in, all the way up. Breathe out, hands back to the side. I want you to open up your feet to mat width distance. Bring your hands to pair in front of you, and we're going to sit down into a yogi squat. If this is uncomfortable, you can have your hips sitting on a pillow or on a block, but I want to make sure that your knees are facing over your toes. Your elbows are inside your knees, pressing out, your hands together. And you're thinking about straightening your back, elongating your back. We're going to do a breath in. And as we breathe out, we're going to kind of roll forward, kind of a sitting cow. Stretch your hands out in front of you. As you breathe in, come back into yogi squat. Breathe out, one more. Reach forward. Breathe in. Back to the squat. You breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Just bring your chin to your chest, and we're going to just roll down onto our back into a happy baby. Bring your feet up in the air. Bob the feet facing the ceiling, grabbing the sides of your feet. Pull your knees into your armpits. Maybe pull your feet out diagonally. I want you to let go of your left foot. We'll do a half happy baby. Stretch your left leg down, straight down along the floor, heel as close to the floor as possible. Maybe put your left hand on your left thigh, stretching out, kind of a inverted runner's lunge, keeping your hold of your right foot. And then now bring your left leg up, grab the left foot, and now push the right foot down to the floor, straighten the leg, hand on top of the thigh. Bring the foot back up in the happy baby. Bring your feet together so your palms of your feet are touching. Bring them down to the floor, reclining butterfly pose. Have your left hand on your heart, right hand on your belly, and take a couple breaths. Breathe in. Breathe out. Filling up the belly, then the chest. Relaxing the chest, and then the belly. I want you to bring your knees up, bring your knees together, facing the ceiling. And I want to do a quick bridge pose. Go ahead and push your elbows into the ground and lift your hips up. We're not doing a really deep bridge, just your shoulders, your hips, and your knees all in one line. Again, we're kind of firing the glutes, getting them engaged, also firing the quadriceps. If you want to work on core, you can stay here. If you can stay here, or if you want to work on core, lift your left leg up, bring it down, and then try your right leg up, and then down. Go ahead and bring your hips down. Cross over your right foot over your thigh into a figure four. Lean forward and grab your behind your thigh, or grab your shin, wherever the sensation has it, and just hold here. So in a figure four, you're feeling it in the gluten and the thigh. We're not pulling, we're just kind of holding. As we exhale, think about relaxing the lower back more into the floor. Breathe. One more breath. I want you, when you breathe in, actually do pull your legs in. Breathe out, let them go. Foot back down to the floor. We're going to rotate. So rotate the right foot down towards the left-hand side of the floor as you breathe in. As you breathe out, rotate the right knee towards the right-hand side of the floor. One more time, rotate over to the left, back to the right, and then now back to center. And we'll go ahead and switch sides. Bring the left ankle over the thigh into figure four. Reach down, grab the back of the thigh, grab the front of the shin, lean back, and just hold. Last breath, go ahead and pull in a little more as you breathe in, and let it out all the way to the floor when you breathe out. Now we'll rotate the left foot down over to the right as we breathe in. As we breathe out, left knee to the left side. One more rotation to the right. And back to the left. Come back up to center. I want you to hug both of your knees into your chest. Bring your chin to your chest. And we're going to rock back and forth a couple times, and then roll up into a sitting position, legs straight out in front of you. We're going to do one last stretch before going into our final resting place. In staff pose, I want you to put your hands on either side of your hips. Rotate the shoulders back into our perfect breathing position. Relax the face, consider your tongue position. Pull up on the string on the top of your head and breathe. Breathe in, lift your arms up. Breathe out, lean forward, grab your toes, your ankles, your shins, whatever you can get to get sensation. And breathe. Now here's a position where we might not be able to belly breathe because we're compressed. So one more other breathing technique is what we call back breathing. It's like chest breathing, but when you're breathing in, think about expanding your chest. No, I'm sorry. Instead of expanding your chest, extending your back. When we're in a tight position, sometimes just visualizing different ways to breathe to get full breaths in the areas of our body that are not constricted can help us get full breaths. So expand the back and let out. Keep hold of whatever you're holding. When you breathe in, straighten your back, lift your head up. Breathe out. Bring your hands back. And I want you to come into a seat. You can cross your legs in front of you, either in lotus pose, half lotus. I like simple seat where both my feet are on the ground. I want you to bring your hands behind your back, grab opposite elbows, or more realistically, grab your forearms. Again, we're opening up our chest. Good breathing position. Breathe in, and then lean forward, breathing out. Here's another position where we want to breathe into our back because we're constricting. Your neck in. Sit up. Bring your hands on your knees. Rotate your hands up, shoulders up and back. Go ahead and touch the thumb and the forefingers together. Relax the face. Consider tongue position. Full breath in and out. Another thing you might want to try is switching which finger. I've done this in my practice where I then do my middle finger and my thumb. I'm keeping my eyes closed. Sometimes I'll feel a different sensation, like a connection's made and there's, light that comes into my face. Now probably throw the ring finger in the thumb. Sometimes as I rotate fingers, I don't feel anything. And sometimes in some days, the same finger will kind of bring a little electrical current through. And then finally, the pinky and the thumb. You may have found that it didn't make any difference. You may find that one finger kind of lights up your mind more than others. Bring it back to the thumb and forefinger. Continue to breathe. But just something to experiment with. I know in the text that each finger means something different in your finger placement, but I just was pragmatic about did it make any difference in how I felt? Because that's what matters, is kind of how it feels in your body. Breathe in. Breathe out. Go ahead and bring your hands to prayer in front of your heart. Put your chin down to your chest. Thank yourself for spending time this morning to focus on breathing and stretching. And hopefully it will help you throughout the day. Maybe give yourself an intention to some point in the day, just spend a couple of minutes and focus on breathing. Or maybe there was one of the postures here that you like that you may want to get on the floor and do between calls. Breathe in, bring your thumbs to your forehead, straighten your head, straighten your spine. Deep in, bend forward, breathe out. And thank you very much.